Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. Let's talk about baseball, Major League Baseball. I'm Dan today along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How's it going, Dan?
It's good because baseball is going on, and I'm a big baseball fan. And one thing I like talking about is always to lead off the segment is the best team in the major leagues. And they happen to be a team that's probably top three, five of your favorite teams, Milwaukee Brewers.
The Milwaukee Brewers, they've had two crazy winning streaks, and so over the past 40, 45 games, they have just been steamrolled. They've settled back down a little bit over the past week for sure, but they're settling down for them as having like a 500 stretch.
Yeah, they were 4-6 in the last 10. They've lost their last two, but they've been playing really well. They're 81 wins, the only team over 80 wins. And in that division, the Cubs are the only team really in a stone's throw, 5 games back. But they're 8-2 in their last 10, and they've won three in a row.
Yeah, they had fallen farther behind, so closed the gap a little.
They did.
There's only 5 weeks left, right? Like
Yeah,
this is the beginning of 5 weeks remaining. And so, yeah, if it's one of those things, if there's only like 32 games, you go 20 and 12, you need your opponent to go like 16 and 16
yeah, absolutely.
to catch them.
Yeah, you run out of time. The numbers are getting thin. Chicago, Tucker has been hitting again. He went through a very prolonged slump. He had a great weekend. So that's the NL Central. And the NL West is very interesting because the Dodgers and San Diego, who've played each other, I think, the last 2 weekends in different parks, they're tied for first place with a 74-57 record.
Yeah, they both teams have been kind of ebbing and flowing recently, though the Dodgers, I saw a crazier, larger scale stat that said since the beginning of their hot start, like over the past 90 games, they're like 40 and 50 or something. It was something like that.
Wow, below 500.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I never would have guessed that. Only teams in it in the West. And then in the NL East, the Phillies have opened up a 7 game lead on the Mets, 7-3 in the last 10. They've won the last two. The Phillies are looking good, but they just lost Zach Wheeler, as we brought up last week. So they're going to need some people to stand up, step up. And Sanchez and Suarez right now have done so.
Yeah, Suarez just had an amazing start too. And he looked awesome. So, and their bullpen is deep.
Yeah,
They do have a very deep bullpen. So, other than those two guys who are just pulling everything ahead, the rest of the rotation, you really only need like 5 innings out of them. You don't need anything drastic.
well, get this. Their next best pitcher, stat wise, for the season will be Luzardo, right? And they are their three
Hmm.
best pitchers. And with Wheeler out, you can see them going into a series with those three lefties being your pitchers.
Yeah. I mean, it's not awful. I was just telling some of a young guy I work with the other day or like last week about their pitching staff, and he really didn't know. I was like, "Oh yeah, they got their pitching staff is loaded, and those three guys up top." Now, granted, Wheeler's gone, and that changes things for sure. But yeah, their pitching staff for most of the year is one of the best in the league.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm a Philly fan, and so I'm feeling good. 7 games up on the Mets. The American League Division races. Toronto now 5 games up on the Boston Red Sox and 5.5 games up on the New York Yankees. Still within it, but running out of time in the division race.
I just am shocked at how Toronto just keeps rolling along. I mean, they,
Yeah. Yep.
since they asserted themselves and passed everybody, they've maintained it pretty well.
Absolutely.
Not like blowing people away, but
Nope. 6-4 in their last
yeah,
10.
they're playing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Blue Jays have been impressive. A lot of their players they've had for years have stepped up and having good season. In the AL Central, the Tigers have wrapped up the division now 10.5 games up on KC. I'm going to call it, Steve. I think the Tigers have won the division now. And what do you think? Do you think that's a good bet?
Yeah, I do think that's a good bet. Even though like Kansas City has once again picked it back up, they
Absolutely.
have slept down a bit, but
Yep. 7-3 in
they're
their last
playing
10.
great.
3 games above 500 now. They were below 500. They're playing great. Absolutely. So they're still in. We'll get to the wild card race. And then the AL West. is a little interesting because Seattle now 2 games behind the Astros within earshot, but 3-7 in the last 10. And Texas 6.5 games back, getting a little far back when it comes to the division race.
Yeah, I don't think Texas is jumping both those teams for the division. I just don't see that
Nah,
happening.
they're playing
But
500 balls, 66 and 66.
the Mariners need to get their bats going again. Their bats cooled off, um, and their pitching's been really good. And we know they have the team to do it now. I mean, the rotation is great. Bryce Miller's coming back. I think he's making a start this week. Finally, he'll be back. So they'll have their five rotation back for the first time all year.
Wow.
And yeah, and since the trades, I mean, I know Eugenio Suarez has definitely cooled down since
Yep.
we acquired him.
Naylor's been
But
okay.
but Josh
Yeah.
Naylor's been great.
He's been
So
great. That's great to hear. They just got Robles back, although they're going to lose him soon to suspension. But yeah, they were facing 3 lefties in a row, and that's one of the reasons they activated him, I think, because and he looks like he's ready to play.
and in the game yesterday, Cal Raleigh hit 2 home runs to be the all-time home run per single season home run catcher leader. Uh, Robles made a great play in the outfield. Like
Yeah,
he made a great play.
I saw that.
So we're like for a guy who just came back from totally messing up his shoulder, making a great play, it was cool to see him going all out and diving for the ball.
But he's got that suspension looming, throwing the bat at the minor league pitchers who hit him like 5 times in like 3 games. So he was a little upset, but he gave a good apology, as you mentioned before. Yeah, listen, 49 homers is the new record right now for a catcher, Cal Raleigh.
And I was looking it up because if he's going to hit 50 home runs, which obviously he's gonna, because there's 5 weeks to go in the season, how many players do you think in Major League history have hit 50 home runs in a season?
Okay. I'm just going to take a stab in the dark. I'm just thinking out loud. Let me just take a wild guess. I'm going to say under 10. No, I'm going to say 11.
No, no, it's much more.
Much
Much
more,
more.
21.
33.
Whoa, I'm not even close. Why
Thir-
was I so low in my guess?
33 players have had a season of 50 home runs. Now,
N-
granted, there's a lot of those like, Brady Anderson, like one shot, one and done type people, you
right.
know? But but yeah, there's a handful of guys that we would all know and expect
George
to get
Foster's
multiple
in there. He
times.
had 52 one year, I believe.
Yep, Foster is in there. There's a few people I remember seeing on the list. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that year, and I
Yeah, but
remember that year.
50's a lot. When we were growing up, if you were in the high 30s, you were great. So 50 is
Yeah, it was like
extravagant.
I think it was 33 different players for a total of 50 seasons or 51 seasons.
Right. Wow. Interesting. So he's going to pass it soon. He's the first catcher who will get there. Let's go to the division
Yep.
races because we got some interesting division races. Let's start with the American League because that's really where it's interesting. Boston, New York, and Seattle are the top 3 wildcard teams, but they're tight. Boston's 1 game, half a game up on New York, and only 1 game up on Seattle. So that wildcard leader, the number 1, 2, and 3, very tight race. KC, as we mentioned, playing the best of all the wild card teams in the last 10, 7-3. They're now 3 games above 500. They're only 3 games back in the way they're playing. They're totally in it. Texas at 500, 4.5 games back. And Cleveland, a game below 500, 5 games back. I say still in it, but it's getting thin.
Yeah. That's yeah, for sure. I mean, look, we all know as Mariners fans, where I am up here in Seattle, they have like blown it in the last week of the season, like 4 of the past 7 years.
Yeah,
So
we had a
they could
friend who
they
just
could easily
referenced
do it
that. Yeah,
again.
we had a friend who just referenced that in one of our threads. Yeah, absolutely. So they could totally do it again. KC is definitely a stone's throw. Texas 5-5 in the last 10, and Cleveland 2-8 in their last 10. So if they're going to do something, they got to stop playing better. Right now, Tampa Bay only 6.5 games back, but they're out of it. They're not going to pass all those teams. Unless they go on a 14-game winning streak like the Brewers, I think they're done when it comes to the wild card race. And then a wild card, it's not as many teams close or playing above 500.
No.
Chicago Cubs 6.5 games above the wild card chasers. He's 2 games up on the Dodgers at the number one, two wild card. They're tied with San Diego, so they're tied with the division. So one of them is the second wild card team, and then the Mets are 4.5 games back of the second wild card team, and they are struggling because Cincinnati's only 1.5 games behind them.
I would love to see Cincinnati edge out the Mets. That would be awesome.
I would love
I
that
really
too.
would like
I
to
have a
see
friend
that.
who's a Met fan who doesn't listen to this podcast. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would love to see the Reds get into. I totally concur. I'm pulling for the Reds. Both the Reds and the Mets are 5-5 in the last 10. After that, you have Arizona 5.5 games back and St. Louis 5.5 games back, but they're both 3 games under 500. Arizona playing at 5-5 in the last 10. St. Louis going the other way at 3-7 in the last 10. So I would say it's getting to be a 4-team race for those 3
Yeah.
wildcard spots.
Yeah, I would think so. And looking over at the other columns here, run differential, the Mets are a plus 47, the Reds are a plus 48. They've
Wow.
scored the same amount of runs and they've only allowed one less run. I
That is
mean,
crazy.
they're
That I'm
very,
looking.
very similar.
They're very similar. 593 to 593, runs scored, and 546 to 545, and runs against. That is very interesting. But I would say those numbers skew towards Cincinnati over the last month or two more. Like they probably have scored more
Prob
and given up less in the last month or two.
yeah, I would agree.
I would definitely agree with
I
that.
would agree.
So that very interesting races going on. One, let's bring up. You bring up run differential. Let's bring up the extremes. The negative 349 of the Colorado Rockies. They've scored 491 runs, but they've given up 840 runs.
840. Oh my goodness gracious. That is ridiculous. They're gonna pass 1,000. They're gonna pass they're gonna get to 1,100.
Yeah, I mean, that is a big run differential. And then, of course, I mean, I'm sure when it comes to pitching and hitting, the Rockies are always, near bit, large when it comes to runs given up.
Yeah,
But
I'm
still,
sure.
that's
I'm sure.
extreme. That is extreme. No offense. And then Milwaukee, as at a plus 159, they have scored 666 runs. Hey, there you go. And have only given up 507 runs. So they lead the league on the other end of the run differential. Very interesting stuff going on when it comes to the numbers. And listen, Steve, like you said, there's only 5 weeks left. There's 30 odd games left for each team. We don't have many
Yep.
races when it comes to stats going on, but we do have a few. I mean, right now, Cal Raleigh has taken a 4 home run lead over Otani and Schwarber. He has 49 home runs. Otani has 45, Schwarber 45. Judge and Suarez are 40 home runs. So is he widening the gap to win the home run title in the major leagues?
Yes, and those two we launched yesterday were awesome. A beautiful Sunday afternoon game here in Seattle. Ballpark looked amazing.
Sunday
But also I'd heard
afternoon in the summertime. Sorry.
previously previously in the week, he set the record. He broke a record by Mickey Mantle for most home runs by a switch hitter.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
What a season he's
imagine that.
having.
It is
247 he's batting,
crazy.
49 homers, 106 ribbies. He's got 85 runs. And then we always like to bring up his 14 stolen bases. Just crazy stats by Cal. His walks are at 75 and his strikeouts are 153. Amazing season for Cal. So he's starting to widen that home run race. RBI, Schwarber with 109, Cal with 106, Alonso with 103. The only three with over 100. That's a three-person race when it comes to the RBI leader in the major leagues this year.
Yeah, because obviously Suarez is not going to do it now that he's in Seattle. He's fourth at 98, so he's going to drop off.
Yep.
And yeah, Riley Green and look look at Taylor Ward for the stinky Anaheim Angels with 94 RBI. That's kind of
Wow.
nuts.
That is nuts. Well, listen, I know they're stinky, but for them, they've had a decent season, Steve. They are a 14-game winning streak away from being in the wild card race.
Right.
So if they pull that
And
off, yeah. No, but for them, they're what, 7 or 8
just
games back in the wild card. It's been a decent season for them.
yeah. No, yeah, I guess, sure.
I mean, for I didn't expect them to even be where they are. So they expected to compete. I
True.
knew they would. Taylor Ward has 30 homers, 94 ribbies. He's batting 233. So that is a low average. He has 59 walks. His on base is only 316, but he's driving in runs, Steve. His highest RBI before this year was 75 the year before. So coming into his own the last couple of years. Good observation there. And then most of the other batting leaders, I mean, Otani has 122 runs. Second is 100 Judge. I mean, there's not a lot. We have doubles. We have Bichette and Witt tied with 40. That Duran's next was 34. So we don't really have a lot of big races going on when it comes to hitting,
No.
but pitching, we got Peralta with 15 wins, Crochet with 14, Rodon with 14, and then Freed and Pavada with 13. So we got the win category when it comes to Major League Leader this year is pretty tight.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of guys there, and since wins are so, hit or miss,
Rare nowadays
legitimately.
with
But you
bullpen
know,
usage.
um, yeah, I mean, any of those guys
Yeah.
could get 4 wins. I mean, any of them. Who knows? I
In a
couldn't
five
tell you
man
which one, but
rotation,
it could any of them.
5 man rotation, you're getting 6 starts again, maybe. Maybe 7 if you're like that guy starting now with, they have 32 games, 33 games. So you're only getting 5 to 7 more starts.
Occasionally, some guys will get 33. I don't think I've seen anyone get 34 starts in a season in a while.
No.
So, right. Lately, I think 33, most tap out at 32. So, just looking at their games started, everybody's got, yeah, 6 more tops.
Yeah,
Six more
6 more.
tops.
6 more. So, and then the strikeout category, we got Crochet at 207 and Scooble with 200. Wheeler's next at 195, but he's gone. So we got a two-person race, and that could go down to the wire between two guys on teams both heading to the playoffs.
And yes, agreed. And from something I was listening to the other day or reading, one or the other, but it was from a Boston thing, and it was kind of like, what does Crochet have to do to solidify himself as a Cy Young, as like the more favorite Cy Young candidate over Scooble? Because both their numbers look great, right?
Yeah,
But I
they
mean,
do.
but would you give it to Scooble? Like, which of those two would you give it to at the moment? Like
Well, Scooble has 11
wins
wins.
don't count as
I
much.
I know, but I still count him. 11 to 14. ERA is a
Yep,
2.32 for Scooble. Crochet's a 2.38.
yep,
So they're very close in that.
yep.
Strikeouts 207 to 200. Either one. Whip
Look at that whip.
0.87 Scooble. My goodness. Crochet with a 106. Great. But look at that whip.
106 in most years could lead the league for starting pitchers, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
So I would
but
think
look, this year there's
you
a bunch.
is a bunch. Scooble though I think is right now a little ahead of
Probably the
Crochet.
Cy Young favorite.
Right
Yeah,
now. Right now. And in the save category, which is always a interesting category, just because people close and you got Estevez leading, tied with Suarez. Estevez of the Royals, Suarez of the Padres with 34 wins. McGill with 30 of the Brewers, and Munez of the Mariners with 30. Common to be a two-person race. All four of those teams, I'm going to count the Royals, still in the playoff hunt.
and the Estevez, right? He was an Angel who got traded at the deadline to the Phillies.
Yep.
And then this year he signed a free agent deal with the Braves, and then they traded him at the deadline to the Royals. Is that how that happened? So I think he's been
Yes.
on 4 teams in 2 years.
No, he's been with KC all year.
Oh, yes?
He has been with KC all year. He
Hmm. All right.
and it's just to let you know, his last 3 years are his best years when it comes to saves. 34 this year, 26 with between two teams last year, and then in 23 with the Angels, he had 31. So 31, 26, 34 the last 3 years. He's been a very reliable closer the last 3 years. A great contract by the Royals to sign him. They are still, as we said, on the outside looking in, but playing better, trying to advance. I wouldn't mind seeing Kansas City win, but that would mean, of course, who would you rather see? Obviously, you'd like to see Seattle and Boston and the Yankees fall, right?
Yeah, sure. Get the
And,
Yankees out of there.
and get Kansas City in there. There you go. So we have a few categories that are interesting. We got some few races that are interesting. There's only 30 games to go, Steve, in Major League Baseball. We're getting down and dirty. The dog days of summer and September is ahead. I love baseball.
It's a good time, and the stretch run is always a good time.
Especially when your teams are good. You're a Seattle Boston fan. I'm a Philly fan. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Major League Baseball talk. Talk to you next week. Cheers.
Have a good one.